Okay, let me do this real quick. Mm. Hello, people. It's Lone Soul here. Welcome to the first episode of the Soul Sunday Podcast. This podcast is about sharing music and topics. Right now, I'm not at my house, but we are making this work. We got some guests here today. We got my guy Shane.
Yeah.
You. Incredible drummer,
Thanks, man.
the one and only. We got my guy Terry Borderline here.
What's good?
Please. Oh damn, I gotta change the layout real quick. Hold on. Where is it? This one? There we go. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got Terry. This dude has I don't know, he's been like the main source of gigs for me before COVID. This dude, if you think of anyone, Independency is his middle name,
Give thanks. Thank you, man. And there's plenty more shows to come, honestly. 2021, I've been making a lot of plans, bro, for real.
Seriously. I don't know if this guy is on, but we got my guy Joshua, I believe. It just says Lawrence Mass. But he might not be on yet. I'll just take him off real quick. Got some other people coming, but in the meantime, before we get started, this episode will be about the third song of the whole project that I have yet to put out yet, but just trying to share stuff before things are final. That way people are kind of up to date in what the agenda, the theme of it would be, so they could kind of piece things together instead of going in blind, Before we start, I want to ask how you guys' days have been.
Real good.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a roller coaster, because I have a son now, so like I tried to get some sleep last night and he was not having it. But but thankfully everything picked up around the sunset, because I went out, I started sun gazing, grabbed some sun, and now I feel great.
That was good. Right now I've been helping some people record some tracks in my new studio. I'll show you. Let's show you around if I can. I don't know if I could spin the thing around, but I'll show the viewers too. Let me do this. Video. Let's put solo onto me. All right, let me show you real quick.
All right.
So, right there. Got people in here,
Dope. The stew is dope, bro.
It's my second room that's in here. I still have to do something with it, but
that looks lit, bro.
And then the booth I need to fuck with though, but I'm making the foams and stuff like that to put it in.
Yeah. That isolation, that's real important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the acoustics of that whole room looks like it's gonna be lit. Like Y'all won't even need to use like reverb or anything like that. Like it's gonna just sound like
it's just the
good.
drum that I need to fuck around with because it gets really boomy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the corners mostly.
Yeah.
Hopefully these.
Wait, so is that just your studio or is that the spot you're sleeping at too?
No, it's big enough for me to sleep in, but I can't. Good.
Yo, Pops, you fuck with that shit?
How long you guys want to stay? I mean, it's up to you. How long you want to stay up here?
I'm down for an hour because I got some projects I gotta record.
I want to see the latest night.
But I mean, yeah, I'm down to talk about some topics. You know, really like.
I just want to make sure these guys don't take up that much.
Oh yeah, no more.
I was gonna say let's
wake
the people up.
Yeah, I was thinking doing it for an hour because I don't want to push it for some people. I don't know.
Yeah. I was great. I got some food coming in soon too, so you know.
Yeah.
I will pass this.
Okay.
Eat.
Yeah. Yeah, but so in this episode, I'm gonna be showing the third song, like we said. This one is called "Fog of War," right? That's the third song, and that one's. I wrote the intro for it, right? But I couldn't perform it myself, so I had my friend Wes Daigara. He's the voice behind that little intro that says what's it called? Every day is a bombardment. Mm-hmm. Every oil spill, natural disaster, gas leak, whatever. Every headline in the media is a mortar shell. Mm-hmm. And we're getting bombarded, so where are people at war? In a war against the people. So I wrote I don't know it word for word, but that's mostly what I wrote down because I was trying to figure out what this song meant. Like I wrote it, I made the song, right? I didn't have any words to it, but it always felt like something was changing. Something is constantly being, altered throughout the whole song. Like every 4 bars, something either drops out or the mood of the song changes slightly. Mm-hmm. So I kind of equated that to how I think, where is it? Maybe April of last year. How that's when mostly the riots were coming in, the COVID lockdown started coming in heavy and all that stuff. And it's just headlines and disruption throughout, the whole social, like everyone's daily life. So I was thinking, why this might be like this is also like a perfect time for people to be taken advantage of as well. So I was thinking there's always distractions for a reason. It's always like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like something that's keeping us pointed at the wrong direction. That's the gist of it. And that plays partly into the title of the whole project, Apartheid Plus, because that's how apartheid in South Africa was. Like that's the strength that kept the corruption, that system going, was because it was a lot of distractions and pitting people against each other. So that's what I kind of equated that to. And also the political stuff, the Democrats versus Republicans, the anti-maskers be against the normal like the actual people that masking up and shit. There's like a lot of back and forth between a lot of division between people that are mostly affected by the very system they have to adhere to. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, bro.
Let's see.
Well, go ahead, bro.
Nah, I was thinking, I'm like, damn, should I put the little teaser that I put up for Instagram right now? Or fuck it, I'll do it.
Teaser.
Oh yeah, just make sure when I click when it comes in, make sure you enable the audio. That's one thing that it has, you have to press yes to. I don't know how the notification pops up, but I'm gonna press it in 3, 2, 1.
Every day is a bombardment. Into every shooting, Austin,
natural disaster and illness are away. Every headline is a warning shot, and it says it was the stranger. We are a people at war, and a war against the people.
Hell yeah, bro. That was tough.
Yeah.
Yo, you put that all together yourself?
Yeah, I pretty much had everything put together beforehand, and then I sent it to Shane so he could help me with the drums, I guess, because the drums I had they're doing their part, but I needed something more live, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to touch up the second song. I haven't done anything with March yet. Like I have to take some time out, but it's coming together slowly.
Yeah, bro, that was amazing.
Word.
Was the trailer kind of sped up? I don't know, it's because of the connection I had. I don't know.
No, it wasn't sped up. And
okay.
Like, do we have room to speak on it right now?
Yeah, we could speak on it for that little section. I'm gonna put the whole song later on, but right now I'm just waiting a bit. Well, I got a like on Facebook.
What I like about the teaser is that it really addresses what you were just talking about, like a war with the people against the people, right? And it's like we don't realize we're inside this covert war. Like Professor Griff, he has a book called The Psychological Warfare on Hip Hop, right? And that book goes in. It basically breaks down a lot of like how and another book that actually ties into this is Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, but Behold the Pale Horse, which basically breaks down like, yo, a lot of people don't even realize we're in the midst of a war, like on many levels, and it's not just the war on terror or like the war on health or whatever. It's like yo, it's a war on us and for our souls. It's a spiritual war, it's a physical war, it's a mental war, it's an emotional war. But you want to speak, brother?
Oh no, I was capping what you were saying. It's a systematic oppression. We are at war with the system, my brother.
Yeah.
Like,
and
the government doesn't want to see us flourish. They do not want to see us prevail, and they sure as hell don't want to see us come to power. Because again, if they could do what they did to us, they feel as if we would do the same to them. And really, we don't give a damn about them. We don't care. No, we want our reparations. We want to be able to build for our own communities like we always did in Africa, like we've always did in the DR, like we always did in Haiti. Like, yes, there are some corruption. There is going to be, some things that every culture goes through as far as, how to deal with each other. But when you interplay another race with another race and you try and compare them based on, their economic status and their skin color and the way that you think that they should socially develop, well, then that's when you create a racist institution.
Yeah. And I agree 100%. And to even build on that, it reminds me a lot of what's going on in the news right now in terms of Tamir Rice. And his mom.
I was sending I had to do some music for him.
Yeah. Tamir Rice, Samaria Rice, right? She was breaking down how, like, yo, they take our trauma and our pain, when we die amidst of this war, and then they profit off of it, right? These so-called activists, these like woke individuals, they'll like head Black Lives Matter and use Black Lives Matter over and over again, show faces of Mike Brown, show faces of Tamir Rice. And then when they make $90 million, the families are asking, yo, where did that money go?
Where's the money?
Where's the money? And it's like we're seeing the effects inside our neighborhoods worsen because of this. It's like at this point, the more we're aware that how we thrive in this war, not even just survive but thrive in this war, is through being aware. the more we do that, the more we actually gain an advantage to actually, prosper. But a lot of people aren't fully there yet, and so they don't like. I don't know if you ever listened to Neely Fuller Jr. But he and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, they basically say the system of racism, the system of white supremacy, if you don't understand that, you won't understand anything, right? You won't understand nothing, right? And there's so many people who are confused. Why can't I get a mortgage? Or why do they treat me like this at school? Why do they treat me like this at work? Why can't I get a job? Why are my taxes treated this way, this, that, and the fourth? And it's like, if you don't understand what white supremacy is, if you don't understand the system of racism on a deep psychological level, then you're gonna always be confused. And what I like about your teaser and your song, this third track, is that it really addresses that like head on. It's like, yo, be aware of what's going on, because this is what's going on right now. Like either you're on the side of the people or you against the people.
Right.
Yeah, I got a like on Facebook. I'm happy, man.
That's what's up.
I'm like, I got people actually watching this shit.
You know what, Terry? You hit something on the nail on the hammer, about as far as like, either you're with the government or you're with the system at this point. And
yep,
a lot of people are praising these new presidents that are in our government, thinking that Joe Biden is supposed to bail us out of this, this student debt, and he's supposed to be hammering out these stimmy and these stimulus checks and everything like that. And when the people are so socially dependent and economically dependent on the government, it's like, how you have those lukewarm individuals, like there's one side where they're completely revolutionary, but then there's another side that says, well, there are certain rules and certain things that we have to follow. You can't be a revolutionist and lead a revolution if you're not willing to break some rules, if you're willing to burn down some houses,
No, I'll be
if you're
back.
willing to take some Starbucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is the real warfare, bro. It's like our people being subjected to the systematic mind control of obedience, and this is what they are exemplifying. If you are not obedient, we will send our enforcers, the police, to deal with you. And in this case, it's not necessarily. It's just like slavery. The Nat Turners, the Sojourner Truths. We had black revolutionists during slavery who were made examples of by literal, in front of literal thousands and hundreds of thousands of slaves, just to kill that hope and that dream that could possibly be that we are the true kings and queens of this earth.
Yo, I agree 1,000. And yo, like, right, when you even bring up the martyrs, right, the people who they killed, right, in order to make an example, it's like, how many people in our families, if not in this room, even though there's no judgment, right, are Christians or Catholics or anything like that? And it's like, the number one symbol for Christianity is Jesus on the cross, right? Jesus was the number one rebel. Yeshua, he was a rebel, bro. He went against the system.
Thank you.
And they constantly show us the image of him being defeated, and people don't fully understand what that can do to your psychology. A lot of people look at Jesus as like, yo, he had to die for me, but because he died, I ain't gotta risk my life to go against no system.
I don't have to do anything anymore.
And it's like, yo, that's the exact opposite of what bro was trying to teach. He was saying like, yo, all y'all better get out there and become your own Jesus, because I can't be the only one to do it. You know what I'm saying? The kingdom of God resides within you, right? I'm not even Catholic and I know all that, right? So it's like, if you have the power within you to care about yourself, to care about your people, to care about your nation enough to learn more, to research more, to go out inside the streets and actually experience what's going on out there instead of just having commentary on it. If you got the willpower and the love to do it, then you're obligated to. And if you don't, then it shows to people. It shows to people why are you out here complaining about this, that, and the third? And you see that Biden is not going to do it for you. You see that,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Trump
They
wasn't going to
see-
do it for you, like, and you're just
see-
waiting another 4 years, like,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you're right, bro. At the end of the day, you're 100% right. We're looking towards these political figures and everything like that. But you know what's even worse of a problem is that we have our own, in our own industry and in our own field, we have the Denzel Washington. We have, you know, the what's the name? My goodness. Well, we have, like, you know what I'm talking about. We have the Denzel Washingtons. We have the Will Smiths. You know, we have the Oprahs.
We're talking about Viola Davis.
Viola Davis, she's making an impact in Hollywood. But Hollywood in itself is its own corrupt cult of an organization where we are too busy trying to infiltrate instead of realizing, like, we already have enough means to create our own Hollywood. People don't want to just watch white faces on their movie screens anymore. Like, I watched Tenet. I don't know if you guys seen that movie, Tenet. But
Nah,
bro,
I haven't seen it.
Bro, I'm mad people was hating on it. But what a mind fuck of a movie. And it was like, you seen Denzel Washington's son, I forget the name of his first name. But you see him play that role with such, like it was like you couldn't even see him as just being a black man. You seen him as a human being, but more so you see him as this super agent. Like it was determined that it was him that was gonna save the world. And he had to do it. And it was it was only because of the mindset that he put himself in, allowing himself to be accurately, like, accessible to what was the means and the cause of that. So, you know, his example of playing that type of role in an empowering movie like that, to show that we are not just Bloods and Crips, we're not just drug addicts, we're not just gangsters, but we can also be scientifically the action hero as well.
Yep. Yeah. Like,
we're talking about Judas.
No. We'll get to that. We gonna.
He's talking about Penny.
But I was just talking about, like, Tenet and the role that Denzel's son played, and how, like, the movie in Hollywood is starting to change, where it's like, you know, we got these James Bonds. Every single James Bond from up until has been white. But you know, to that point where it's like, Daniel Craig is not that smooth character that would be getting all of these fine foreign women. I'm sorry, that's not who he is. Pierce Brosnan, the same type of dude. The only white guy that I could say would be 100% to be able to get that was Sean Connery. And why is that? Because Sean Connery, first of all, Sean Connery wasn't exactly like the type of white guy that was about the system or about this oppression. He thought about his role and what he had to do as an actor and executed it as such. Now these days in Hollywood, everybody's got to play a role where it's like, I got to fit this white criteria, or I got to fit this black criteria.
Like tokenism, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like breaking that type of role. I mean, we could easily have Idris Elba play something like a 007, and then you would see, like, his character would actually match, like, the magnitude of everything that, you know, James Bond or 007 would do. Why is that? Because, I'm sorry to say it, us as black people, black men, black women, there's a strength about us that when it presumes, when we set to do it, whatever it is, it's going to be impactful. So it's like, I don't know, man. You look at all these rappers and you see how many different women, like Quavo and Saudi, they just broke up. But you see how, like, they can get there nice.
It's pronounced Saweetie.
You know what I'm talking about. My bad.
No, I got you.
Yeah. I gotta get it right. No. You're right.
But right, to build on what you were saying, right? Like with the whole celebrity idolizing, right? It's like, yeah, these people in Hollywood sign contracts. At the end of the day, they got jobs. And so it's like a lot of them will tell you, oh, you should go take the vaccine. I got the vaccine, and they didn't even get the vaccine. They just got paid to. Like,
They just got paid.
you know, and you know, they just got paid to say that, and it's like you have to. We have to understand that every single movie that we watch, just like the movie you watch, Tenet,
no, that's fine.
at the end of the day is about
I'm making it work.
right? At the end of the day, the black man and the black woman, we represent the hero's journey, and every single movie is just a repeat of the hero's journey, which is a formula that talks about our redemption, our death, and our rebirth. You know, and how we go through that, through cycles, as the oldest civilization to exist here, right? The original people of every single continent, right? And what's kind of proof of that is that, like, you know, even when they do make these James Bonds and these 007s, and they base it around a white character, right? All the white 007s, they would always go out to Jamaica. Like, I found out like last year, like Jamaica is like James Bond's second home according to the canon. Like, he always goes to Jamaica, right? Because they know he got to have that Jamaican swag to even be the cool guy he is, right? To even be the cool. And then I don't know if you heard this. Now the next James Bond is supposed to be a black woman.
Whoa. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you know, no matter how much they try to like, and I feel like they had more power to do that. I feel like they had more power to do that during the age of Pisces, where we all fell into different types of illusions, thinking that white was right, black was whack. But it's like, now that we're moving into the age of Aquarius, the truth is being revealed, right? Now we know, you know, anything that we consider great was once black, if it's not still, right? And we have to give our veneration to not only our black ancestors, but our indigenous ancestors as well. And the longer you stray away from that, the more chaos erupts, right? And so it's dope that you mentioned that movie Tenet, because it's like, at the end of the day, I haven't seen the movie Tenet, but I feel like I've seen it already because it's my life, right? Like,
oh,
that's
what
all these movies are.
That's muted.
All of them. No, you're absolutely right. All of them. This is who we are. We are the people that, you know, we rise above the occasion. We rise above the level of downtrodden, because, you know, I mean, everybody's gonna, you know, they'll probably hate on me, you know, for saying this, but I believe that Doja Cat's Grammy performance was the best performance I had ever heard, seen, and probably will ever live to ever see and hear again. And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, Cardi and Megan, they did their thing, you know, they represented. But with Doja, she went above and beyond to captivate more than just the black audience. She reached out to every single, it was almost like her eclecticism on how she perceived the world and how she perceived her role in that, right there in that moment of being at the Grammys and taking over that entire, literally the entire Grammys, taken over and captivated by her performance. That just goes to show, like, the level of magnitude and the level of power and just, it's almost like, if we can put that same amount of energy into ourselves and, like I said, into our communities, where we work and we fine-tune the smallest little things to make it that show-ready performance. So when we come busting at the state hall's doors, when we come busting at the state capitol's doors, we got our shit ready. It's like, yo, it's on pen and paper. It's mapped out. We got our stuff to where it's like, yo, them white folks could have did whatever they wanted to do at the nation's capital. Sure, let them go ahead and bum rush the building. But this is how we're going about it. We're changing legislation and we're changing documentation. We're not talking about police reform. We don't give a shit about no damn police reform. As a matter of fact, screw the damn police reform. We need a whole new amendment system. Yep. Because at the end of the day, the amendments, the Constitution was never written with us in mind. We were still 3/5 of a human when those documents were written. Who's to say that ain't changed now?
That's the whole Dred Scott decision, man. Like,
come on.
that shit got proven, man. And that's facts. Like, Like that's why I love my brothers who be into their genealogy, who be into their Moorish history or indigenous history, and then they get the paperwork, right? And once they get the paperwork, they start the system starts moving differently around them, you know, like the police treat them different, the lawyers treat them different. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd be surprised, and people love to you know, like make jokes and all that shit about sovereignty, but sovereignty is actually real. Sovereignty, and once you gain a sense of sovereignty, you know, you realize, you know, we all are different characters in this game we call America. And they just made the black character have certain characteristics, but it doesn't mean you have to have those have the system work with you that way, you know?
Right.
And it's like, yo, tapping into that energy, you start to realize, oh shit, that person who's tapped into their nationality, that person who's tapped into their genealogy, or that person who's tapped into their sovereignty, whether they're Asian, whether they're white, whether they're Arab, whatever, that's why they were able to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's not even just, oh, you know, you're black and I hate you, and you're white and I love you. Like a lot of it comes from a subconscious genetic pursuit for survival, right? Because number one, you know, like you just let black people rock, a lot of these other races would cease to exist. Like, let's just be real, because we have dominant genes, right? So that's why racism, right, is constructed to elevate the recessive white gene, right? This is what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talked about. But beyond that, right, you make these laws, you make this paperwork, you make this whole system a way where it's like, hey, if you're white, you're elevated legally in this system. You're elevated financially in this system. Then it becomes our obligation to break that matrix, right? Figure out, okay, what are the rules that elevates a white person versus a black person? And is it really about skin color, or is it really a class thing in the sense that white is a class, black is a class, right? And they've put us under this whole umbrella. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are niggas walking around that. There are niggas like I've seen African niggas walk around it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll immigrate from another country. They already got 4 degrees. They got a house. They got this, then, because they say, yo, I'm Ugandan. You know what I'm saying? I know I come from this tribe. I know I come from this clan, and I'm going to utilize that to leverage the system in my favor. But when you're just born, because I mean, I was born in America, right? I'm Haitian, but I was born in America. You get taught all this propaganda that makes you just feel like all your ancestors was just one big slave.
Yep.
And you're here to be a slave too.
Yep.
And it's like, yo, that ain't true. That ain't true.
Well, for me, since I'm Dominican, the overall appearance of a Hispanic has been light skinned.
Yep.
So
yeah.
It's even like it's a weirder terrain for, like I say, us to navigate, because we would think we're a part of it, but we're really not. We're a part of, you know, the white class in terms of like what we put on paper. Like I put when I was young, I put myself as white on paper because that's what there was no way to classify a Dominican because we're half and half.
Right.
So learning what place you're in terms of that's I don't know, the system.
No, that's real. I worked with children, right, at a school, at an alternative school, and when you go through the paperwork on what these children identify as, it's not gonna match their skin color. You'll be surprised. Right. You'll be surprised. You'll see like a third of the Hispanics they classify as white. You'll see people who you think are white. They're sitting there writing Haitian. like you'll be surprised. The paperwork will reveal so much to you, right? And that makes you realize, like, oh, this is how we get shuffled into these boxes. This is how we get redlined and red zoned and taxed more. And when we get killed, there's no justice. Like they're filing all this paperwork behind our backs, and we're sitting here pleading for empathy, for sympathy. But that there's no empathy or sympathy that's gonna come from your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? There's no empathy or sympathy you're gonna gain from somebody who's trying to take your land trying to oppress you, trying to take your land, take your businesses, take your family, take your soul, right?
And this isn't like a conversation about individuals. Like I think this is where people get confused. Like it's not one white person doing all this. It's a
Nah.
It's a
whole,
group.
you
It's
know,
a collective group.
it's it's like years of things being put together without the actual people like knowing.
Yeah.
Like they make it a tradition as in terms to like do these repressive certain
Rituals.
moves,
They're
I guess.
rituals, bro. Because
Facts.
it's religiously executed. It's religiously executed. And you know, I'm finally glad now we can hit on it. The Judas Priest, the Black Judas. All right.
Yeah.
When that, well, I forget if it was I don't know if that was the director of the FBI himself, but when he literally said, "Do you want what happens when your daughter brings home a black man?" And the FBI field agent said,
Well,
"Well,
was it that was J. Edgar Hoover? That was the guy
was
that
he
they
playing
were
J. Edgar
portraying.
Hoover? I forget who
I
that
think
was.
so.
Yeah,
I think that when I watched the whatever the behind the scenes things, they would say specifically J. Edgar Hoover was the
okay.
one
So
saying all these things.
Which
yeah,
J. Edgar Hoover was partly black. He was just a self-hating ass black Negro.
man, listen, let me tell you something, bro. American Skin, that is the exact depiction. That police chief is the exact, and I hate to cap on it. Many of these people gonna shit on me for it, but the police chief was Obama, bro. The police chief in American Skin was Obama. That's really what that message was. It was because what happened when Tamir Rice got shot? What happened when Eric Garner got choked out? Come on, bro. What happened was you seen our president go on the podium stand, and what did he say? My fellow Americans, I'm deeply saddened at this day and time. We are American people, and we have to stand together as one nation. But we must not resort to what? Riotal violence.
Yeah, that does sound like Obama.
That is Obama. Because every single time that we were ready to fight and riot, whether it was what was the other kid that the cops pulled up on because he had a toy gun? I forget his name. See, and that's sad that I have to forget my young.
No. Tamir was the one with the toy gun.
So then, yeah, Tamir. I'm sorry. So then, even George Zimmerman with Trayvon,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, when Zimmerman's ass should have been had, he wasn't even a cop. Okay?
He was fucking neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch, bro. But you seen and you literally seen our president go because we were ready, bro. We were ready to riot, and because this nigga was walking free, still walking free.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, like I got love for my Asian folks. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of cool Asian friends, Vietnamese, Indian, all that. But it's like, it's interesting how Obama comes out and he speaks for the Asian people during this Asian hate or erase Asian hate movement. But he didn't say one thing for black people.
Bro.
But what this would show another part of why I made the song, because it's, you know, the sectioning off certain privileges. Is the sympathy is very different between you know, social groups and all that. So even in the act of, you know, calling Obama out in his faults and stuff, he doesn't put the same energy in black folks. And that would be another distraction, I guess, for people to come together and solve problems, because we're busy pointing of, look at what you got. Like you're getting sympathy from the person that hasn't had sympathy for me. So it's just another. I think that's another obstacle, I guess.
But do you know how dangerous that is? Because if you have a black man who represented us in the White House, like literally, I still to this day, I talk to the older generation. They love Obama. Obama this, Obama that. They love Obama. Meanwhile, you got the Obama sitting up there on Instagram advertising the vaccine. What? What?
Say that.
Are you crazy? You love Obama, but you're against the vaccine. But because he was a black man, listen, skin folk ain't always kin folk.
Yes. Hell yeah.
I'm sick and tired of it, bro. I'm sick and tired of us allowing each other to be used as puppets in order to be controlled by literally what is considered the Django's, who was that? Jensen or whatever his name was. Uncle Ben, Uncle Tom, whoever he is.
Uncle Ruckus ass niggas.
Uncle Ruckus ass niggas. Bro, it's time out for this because now it's like us as brothers, we're starting to become more consciously woke. That's why a lot of us were like, yo, what did Obama really do for us? He did not do anything that was conductive towards our black communities. Like it was literally about pushing LGBTQ rights. It was about pushing equal rights, and it was about the opioid crisis.
Yep.
But it's still a tool, though.
And Biden came in office and just continued that.
Yeah, but how I see it, we're naming all these names, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of finger pointing. Not that it's justified, but that's playing into the whole game, as in dividing our energies and.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's finger pointing more than it is.
You could call out the faults of the individuals, but like the people doing stuff. But at the same time, if that's part of what's keeping people from actually trying to build. What if Obama's actually wants to do something later on, like now? Would his faults from the past get in the way of you guys allowing coming together to stuff?
Him starting now would be what was just and due, what should have been done in the presidency. Then we can now move forward and we can say, okay, President Obama, now you're making headway or leeway because you got Ice Cube sitting up there sitting with both Democrats and Republicans talking about a whole new bill.
Yeah. And can I make a point real quick? What I find so important about even bringing this up, because I'm not into politics. I'm not really into politics like that. I follow it, but I'm not into it, right? And what I feel like what makes the whole Joe Biden and Obama point so important is that the Black Lives Matter movement, all the donations went to the Biden campaign. All the donations went to the Biden. So they took all our money when we all came out in droves to stand up for our own rights and said, nah, the DNC is going to take care of it. Biden's going to take care of it, right? Then when Biden got into office, he had a Zoom call just like this with all the black leaders in the black caucuses. He was like, yo, talk to the Hispanics. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me. Yeah.
He said, don't talk to me. He said, this country's doomed. You know what I'm saying? And he was speaking for white America because, he's a white man. He was like, this country's doomed in terms of white folk. So talk to the Hispanics. They got the whole future down. And then he just completely shut it down.
Language, all that.
And then from then on, every time we brought up issues specifically for black people, he would direct it back to immigration. He directed back to immigration over and over again. And so this common thread between him and Obama shows, just like what you said, we can't externally expect other people to do things for us. And that's just a reminder of that. Like, it doesn't matter how good the person talks. It don't matter how black their skin is. It don't matter what position of power they hold. They're not going to give our freedom to us. We have to gain our freedom ourselves. And I feel like that goes back to where our good brother said, it's a spiritual war. They're practicing rituals on us, and we have to learn the rituals that ascend ourselves, that enlighten ourselves, that uplift ourselves. Like what you do with your saxophone, right? You're tapping into music, which music has its own spiritual value. And every spiritual custom or tradition, they use music. I went to the museum, the MFA, the other day, and they had literally like Mayan fucking saxophones, bro, like made out of conches and shit like that. Like, because this was used for ascension, even hundreds of years ago. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that point. Like it's not about pointing the finger, but it's about being more aware of how much responsibility and accountability we have, that it's on us at the end of the day.
Yeah. And you hit it, Terry, you hit another point, bro. When you were saying how, these actors and these artists, they're in contracts and they're being paid to say this and they're being paid to say that. I'm gonna just stretch it a little bit further because T-Pain said something that was real enlightening about a contract, and he was saying how when you sign a $10 million contract, you're not signed where they're just giving you $10 million. You're expected to produce interest. So that means that when you go into the studio, you know how much a studio? We're talking now. Let's be realistic here. How much does say recording at Sony would cost? How much would it cost to record at Aftermath? This is probably you're putting about almost 20 grand to probably do 2 hours. You feel what I'm saying, bro? When you are given that $10 million investment. Or that 10 million, that's what it is. It's an investment on your ass. It's a slavery investment that says, look, nigga, we gonna give you 10 million. Guess what happens? Your ass is in debt. We're gonna destroy your credit. We're gonna destroy who you are. You're not gonna be able to make music. And then guess what? When you do make music, we're gonna tell you what to make. We're going to tell you how to make it. So if we tell you that you got to have a black woman in there shaking her ass, and then all of a sudden we want her to pick up a crack pipe, or better yet, if we want you to dress in a dress, you could be a masculine man and they'll make your ass dress in a dress.
Yeah.
What the hell is it? I mean, I'm not saying Young Thug do what he want to do. Lil Uzi Vert, they do what they want to do, but they're being used and controlled, and if that nigga can put a whole diamond and have it inserted in the side of his forehead, that is some spiritually demonic, stupid ass bullshit. Because what happens is if somebody moves that, if somebody hits him the wrong way, if he falls, if he don't sleep the right way, that nigga dies. All because you wanted $24 million in your forehead. We have to become consciously aware that whatever we do and how we do it, white folks are gonna always, like Kendrick said, a white man, all he wants is a piece of my land, or whatever I have, a piece of mind. If he wants a piece of mind, whatever I have is valuable. Whatever I have is ground shaking, it's earth moving. That means that without us, shit don't get done.
Hell yeah. Facts.
Cultures cannot, the black hip hop culture wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for us. You got cats like Jack Harlow trying to do shit that we've been doing for over centuries, and the execution ain't there. Why is that? You got him rocking the afro, soon the motherfucker gonna be wearing cornrows and grills. But guess what? He's gonna be a soft ass little white boy. Why? Because he ain't never lived that gang street life. He ain't never shot nobody. He ain't never sold no drugs. He ain't never had no struggling black mother.
I never heard Jack. I never heard one of his songs. Does he like? What kind of rapper is he? I never heard him.
Man, he's like it's really hard to categorize him, because what he is like he falls in those lines of 6ix9ine and the pill popping pushes.
Yeah,
but he does it more so where it's a little bit like he'll allude to I'm riding with my homies. These are all my homies, and I'm real tough and I'm real big, and we pop pills and we pop X and we do this and all that, when he does none of that. But really what he's doing is he's going to be eventually systematically oppressing his own people, because like so many white people who have followed hip hop for over the generations of time, they've never done it because they've never seen their people do it. But now that they're seeing their people do it, you see white boys walking around with their pants sagging. You see white boys smoking Fronto. They know how to roll Fronto now. Yeah. They're going to cancel their own selves out. It's just we're giving them the game, and that's the problem.
I mean, a great example of that is even like the whole opioid crisis, right? Because they push crack on our communities.
Come on.
And they did nothing for us in terms of the crack epidemic. Then when they started pushing Oxycontin and Percocets and all that, and we weren't doing enough of them, more white people were doing them, right? What happened? Now we got the opioid crisis where literally, if you're a white person addicted to, whatever, heroin or whatever, you go walk into a clinic and do that shit in the office, bro, in the state of Massachusetts. and they say this is justice, right? And it's like, yo, like it shows how the way they set up all that shit is gonna eventually collapse on itself. You can only build a house of cards for so, and we're watching it happen.
We're watching
2020 and 2021 is us watching the system collapse.
Yeah, bro. It's amazing. I was looking at that because I was like, yo, like there's mad people that are white people that are hooked on drugs. There's a lot of white people that are getting in trouble for a lot of stupid shit that we used to do. But we're like, we're getting conscientious to the fact, like, yo, we don't have to go out and be that banger mentality. We don't have to go out and perpetrate that ignorant mentality.
Yeah.
They're doing it. I'm seeing it. Like, it's like anytime you go out and you kill 6 Asian people because you felt that your safety and sexuality and security and your sexuality was threatened, that just goes to show you whatever you've been listening to. It's been a lot of hate towards women, first of all, hate towards ethnic groups, and now most black music that we perpetrate is always going to be negatively generalized to our people. So when white people listen to that shit, they think it's the green light. Oh, yeah, that's my green light to go and do a little ethnic cleansing because they do it to themselves. But now you got white folks sitting up there, they're rapping about what they want to do and how they want to do it, living on boats, living on mansions, and doing a bunch of drugs. And they're like, yeah, that freaking sounds cool. I want to do all of that. Meanwhile, they ain't got no money. They don't have the college degrees. This generation of white kids now these days, like, what are they getting their degrees in? Where are they going with their degrees? Are they picking up the jobs where the corporate America can still generate its wealth and its financial economical status? These are the questions that. Go ahead.
I have a question then. Since they are doing stuff that that used to be, the black culture, and you would say that's negatively impacted us, right?
It still kind of is, yes.
Yeah. So would you say that would you say it was their duty for them to help us in our time of need, but they didn't? So we not do the same for them?
Karma's a motherfucker, right? Karma's a motherfucker, right? And it's like there are tiers to white people, right? White people, just like we're not one big slave, right? White people aren't just one big slave master, right?
Victim, yep.
There's tiers to them, and what we're watching is the lower class white people, right? Being victimized by the people who they thought were their boys, the upper class white people, right? That's what the whole Capitol Hill joint was about. They thought, yo, if we get enough white people here at the Capitol Hill, they're gonna just listen to us.
What I'm trying to see is that since you said karma's a bitch, right? Yeah. They, it brought it onto themselves at a certain level. Would you say that if we let them, if there's no unity between the lower class of the white people, right, and the black people that were victims of the same system, if we let them fend for themselves, would we be seen as the people letting this, ignoring their plight?
Would we be seen as the protagonist?
Antagonist.
I'm sorry, antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they did the same to us as well. The lower class didn't of the white population did not really come to aid.
No.
Yeah, and I feel
but
like
but what's reciprocating that same energy, would that keep that? I think that keeps this whole thing going, this whole system going, because
I think it doesn't. What I think it does is I think it gives us what it does is it gives us the opportunity for us to discover who we are. Because at this point in time, when we were at our lowest and the lower white middle class was still shitting on us, we had no opportunity to discover Black empowerment, Black self-awareness. We had to figure out how we were going to survive. It's their turn to figure out how to survive. Because
that's real shit.
Just like we've been surviving police brutality. We've been surviving lynchings and castrations for over 300 years. We've survived the crack epidemic. The 80s, my nigga, was a whole type of extermination to make the Black man null and void in his mind, null and void in his body, and null and void in his spirit. And the crack epidemic hit so many Black people. There was not one cry for a clinic or a center that was going to get and help fix these people. And then the people who were selling the drugs, you're hitting them with life sentences.
Yeah.
Like, it's at this point, we did not know. The minute we started playing into the hands of in the 70s was really it was the 60s and the 70s is where we really fucked up. Because once we got literal freedom from underneath the segregation and oppressional state of America, we should have started continuing in our same roots, feeding our communities, busing and policing our own communities. But what happened was we let the infiltration of white influence inherently come into our communities. Because what happened during the 70s? The 70s was one big fucking party. Every single body was smoking weed. They were doing coke. And niggas was doing coke. Niggas was pimping women. Okay? It was a big fucking party. Niggas were not concentrated. Everybody thought, oh, peace, ebony and ivory. Living in perfect harmony. Yeah, we living in perfect harmony, all right? Yeah. But now you see now what their plan. Their plan, just like anybody else, how do you get the enemy of my enemy is my friend? When you try and get somebody that you want close to you and you want to exterminate them, you got to get close to them first. Yeah. You have to engage. You gotta move like they do. You gotta talk like they do. You gotta swag like they do, so they can trust you. Because the minute we trusted them, white people love our music. White people love our dances. White people love our barbecue, but they don't love us. Mm. They love everything that we have to offer. And so they got up under and around us to learn. That's why you got these Jack Harlows. That's why you got Lil Dickies.
Facts.
It's because this is not about inclusion. This is about how does the recessive gene become dominant? Mm. And they can't do it.
They can't do it. And right, from my perspective, right, is we've been dealing with these types of, race relations, so to speak, for 400 years, right? Maybe even farther than that if you want to deal with, white aggression throughout the world, right? And it's one of those things that we had to go on our own spiritual journeys as a people to figure our shit out, right? We survived so much and triumphed so much, right? That it's been our story and our journey. The Asian people didn't pull us up. The Arab people didn't pull us up. The white people didn't pull us up. And it's like, we can have love for them, but we can't expect them to lift us up from our oppression, right? And so the same thing goes for the so-called lower class white people, right? If they're recognizing, hey, Biden doesn't represent me. Nancy Pelosi doesn't represent me. I don't want to get forced vaccinated, just like, they inoculated Black people during the Tuskegee experiment. I don't want to be called a terrorist, like the Muslims were called terrorists after 9/11. Like, if they're feeling these things, it's not that we don't care, but it's like, yo, you have to go on this journey as well, because we went through it. And that's the only way you're going to get out of it.
That's right. Come on, brother. Come on, you preaching.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to see white people someday be enlightened. I don't want to see them just like, eliminated. Like, get enlightened, get on your shit. But it's one of those things where it's like, yo, you gotta go through what we went through to even enlighten yourself. You have to. That's part of the journey.
Thank you. That's it. That's all it is. They've had it made in the shade, and we've literally built the shade for them. So you don't understand what that struggle of like crack or opioid, like I didn't understand it from that perspective. But now that my family member is on,
it's been an hour already. Goddamn. All right.
I know, right?
Let me put the song on.
Great talk though, guys. Great discussion, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of in and out trying to manage the studio, but I tried chiming in when I could.
You doing good, Ariel. Nah, man, yo, you gotta have us back next week, bro, because this got to be part 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I'm hoping for more people to be on though.
But see, here's the thing, Ariel. This is a talk. I think that we needed to have this, even if there's not a lot of people on. But this talk needed to happen because, first of all, this hour was pointing out the flaws. But I believe next week, I think you're releasing your 4th or your 5th song.
The 4th song. I don't know if you remember Truth. If you remember that one.
Bro,
yeah. That one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. That one is well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Truth, when you release Truth, the next episode, when you play the video and we start this discussion, I believe that we need to really hit off on the solutions, the truth of the solutions. How do we, now that we've gotten the air clear,
I think for me, Truth is under a different meaning. It has racial, like the speech, it has, like a racial tone to it, but for me it's more like a spiritual one, like two people having two different truths, and they're trying to, it's the conversation in between that takes place. Like it gets aggressive, it gets combative, but at the same time they only know one reality. Like we know what we've gone through, but we can't necessarily say let's say how the Asian people are living, because they're more united, so they've lived in an environment more united than ours.
But they were economically and financially set up to be united.
Yeah. So at the same time, they could say, but what I've seen is that since they've been economically, sound, I guess, they think hard work trumps whatever is happening.
I got
like just in the Asian community in general.
But that's what I was saying, was that's part of the solution of how do we get from underneath of that mental thinking. And the basic way is we've done all we could. We've infiltrated basketball. We've infiltrated the corporate world. We've infiltrated golf. We've worked blood, sweat, and tears to do above and beyond whatever they have asked us to do. And it's still not enough. So now it becomes the solution of truth is we're at war with the people that do not understand us at their own magnitude. So how do we get from up underneath this? That's the real reality of things. Is like this war. Yeah, Asian Americans they do suffer. Hispanic Americans who are black, y'all suffer just as much as we do. Cause y'all know once you walk into that store, that Asian store, you could be speaking the Dominican language, you could be speaking Hispanic, but bro, they'll look at your hair, they'll look at your eyes, they'll look at your nose and your skin complexion, and they'll tell you the same thing they tell me and Terry: hurry up and buy and get out.
Facts.
Because at the end of the day, it's about realizing that we black people, we built this country, we worked hard, we went to school, we got the education, we did everything that they did and more, and we still are being oppressed. We're still being basically dangled by our balls and saying, look, you can't get this job. And it's not because, but it's because, you're black and you're systematically oppressed. But why is that? Why are we systematically oppressed? Why is it still that, every community, Asian, you go down to any type of any downtown, they all got Chinatown. They all got Hong Kong town. You know what I'm saying? They got Little Italy. There's a real problem with the system where I believe, and I think I know how we may be able to get up under this bootstrap, but it's going to take a lot of discipline from Black people, and I feel like we're not ready to hear this truth yet.
I agree entirely.
Let me put this.
We're not ready to see America burn. We're not ready to give up the basketball. We're not ready to give up the football. We're not ready yet.
Yeah, man. We got to take both truths. We got to bring them together for the grand truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna put this
Play
on.
the video. Play the video, Oriel. Play the video, doggy.
Every day is a bombardment. Through every shooting, oil spill, natural disaster, and illness, our way. Every headline is a warning shot, and it says it was the stranger. We are a people at war, in a war against the people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That shit had me going off. Was that you playing the drums on there too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bro. Yo. That was nuts, bro. That was crazy. Y'all went in. Y'all what? Were y'all in the same studio at the same time doing that too?
Nah,
No.
I produced everything beforehand, and then I just sent it to him to
Y'all are
see
so
what he could do.
sync, you wouldn't even be able to tell. Y'all are so in sync rhythmically, like you wouldn't be able to tell. Like I felt like I was in a concert, bro. Like that was hard.
Right. That was the goal, man. That's the goal. Live drums is supposed to bring a spiritual concert-like feel. It's supposed to give you an interpretation that the studio can't give you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that did not sound like no programmed drums. Nah, that was like
I tried my best. I tried my best beforehand. I'm like, this ain't doing it. This ain't doing it.
No, you made the right choice, bro. Because you know your lone soul, you got soul. Them drums had soul. Like Like y'all got soul. Y'all put that soul into it. So it's like we can feel that in that moment. We can feel it, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Word, man. I'm proud to be on the project with Oriel, and I'm just glad that, this album of Black Lives Matter, what he's releasing, the Apartheid, like, it's really important that we have like the music to match the conversation, because a lot of times, you have these musicians out here they talk about one thing, not to cap on Megan Thee Stallion, but when you was at the AMAs, or not AMAs, but Saturday Night Live, you talking about you was savage, you freaky and nasty, but then in the background you want to have Malcolm X's speech. It don't work like that. You can't choose to serve two masters here. We can't be all sexually promiscuous and then want people to take us serious.
She quoted Malcolm X, bro.
Bro, if you go on Saturday Night Live and you watch it, I swear the whole performance is her shaking her ass. I'm a savage, classy, twerky, nasty, and then at the end they got. I think they might have stole a piece of Oriel's Malcolm X.
Well, that's it.
Bro. It's dead serious.
I mean, it's on YouTube. They can sample whatever they got.
Malcolm X is turning in his grave, bro. Like he would not support that whatsoever. Like
no, man. It was like there were two different conspiring messages. It was so confusing. So to our youth, you can see how detrimentally damaging that can be. Because on the one hand, you can literally tell them, oh yeah, I can be free and lewd and sexually promiscuous, and I can still treat people bad, and I can still take niggas' money, and I can do what I want with it, and then I don't have to pay that nigga nothing. I don't have to do nothing. But I'm still a strong black person. I'm still a strong black person who's not going to be tolerated by shot down. I'm not going to be gunned down by the police. And it's like, yo, we have to.
That's the fog of war there too.
Yeah.
Conflicting messages.
Come on, Ariel.
Yeah.
So we got to buckle down. We got to figure out who are we going to be. Are we going to be these strong visual leaders that people are going to look at and say, you know what?
But it's not to become a monolith either, but it's just to have the references, I guess. Like if you say something, like prove that you're part of it instead of dancing around it.
And the spiritual aspect can't be overlooked too, because somebody like Malcolm, he was spiritually in tune, bro. He made his pilgrimage to Mecca for a reason. He dealt with Elijah Muhammad for a reason. He stopped eating pork for a reason. He had spiritual attunement, right? And it's like everybody right now is being put in a corner where it's like, are you going to raise your spirit or not? Like, right? On a cosmic level, what's happening with the sun, what's happening with the planets, they don't talk about it in the news, but it's like, yo, there are shifts going on that are unprecedented, that are affecting us on a biological and a physical level. And if you're not vibrating high enough, if your consciousness isn't aware enough, then you're going to be thrown to the wolves. Like, and what I like about your song, to go back to your song, is that it really elevates the vibe. It elevates the vibe, bro. Like you feel the elevation from it,
And everything's like kind of shifting too in certain spots. Like the bass line is never exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's always changing throughout the whole song. But you're still like in the arena, I guess. You're still in the arena.
Yeah.
But the flow changes. Certain avenues, I guess, are always shifting and rerouting. I don't know.
And that can be analogous to our struggle. Our struggle is always changing, but we in the same game.
Come on, man.
We in the same game. Even if you didn't do it intentionally like that, that's just the way. That's how life's poetry works.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true.
Yeah.
Nah, thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Bring us back, bro.
Next week we'll do the truth.
Yes, sir.
That one's a tough one.
It's lit.
Because there's so many like ways to interpret. Like it's music. Music's subjective, regardless of whatever we think of. I'm trying to get more people on because I think the more different perspectives we get, the more things could get refined into one solid thing. We could remove whatever is subjective, and if we're stuck with one actual factual truth, then
Yeah,
we
we
can
can be
move
on the
on
same.
from there.
We can move forward, man. We can move
The
mountains.
Yeah.
thing is, we just have too many pages, a
That's
lot of
right.
pages.
That's right.
A lot of pages, bro. And you as an Aquarius, it makes sense why your project has the impact and intention it has, and you have the vision that you have, because that's where we're moving to in the age of Aquarius. We're moving into multiple truths and acknowledging like, hey, my thing is just as true as what you said is just as true, and we have to figure out how to come up with a truth that can handle both, because right now we're living in a world that does not handle lies. We're living in a world that does not handle lies. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how much people cap or how much people lie, those types of things are being exposed. That's why we're even here speaking this real truth right now, because you want to bring the truth. You want to bring people who are honest. The next song is called The Truth because you want to emphasize that. That's that Aquarian energy. And it's like when we can bring my truth, our truth here together, the next episode's guests and all their truths, when we can bring all these truths together, the grand truth is created. That's right. Aquarian energy. Like,
salute to you, my brother Oriel.
Salute.
Yes, salute.
Thank you so much.
I'm just making use of what I got, man.
Yeah, man, you're coming on. You're a true humble hero, bro. For real. I have the utmost respect and value for you. I definitely appreciate you having us on here, being able to speak these facts, speak these truths. What you do does not go unnoticed, bro. Like, even if there's like 2 viewers right now, like, bro, people will come
I
they will watch
I don't
this.
mind people been watching it after. I see the rewatch people. So
because I was about to say, you're making
that.
impact. You're making impact, bro. You're a true pillar.
It's just I want more people on screen, like.
Oh,
I don't know.
In the discussion.
Yeah.
Some people couldn't make it, but I'm not mad at that. It's just maybe next week.
Right.
Yeah. But yo, thank you so much, brethren, for real.
Bro. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Let me do the sign off. Thanks, you people. It's another episode of the Soul Sunday podcast. The next episode will feature The Truth, my 4th song. It tackles, subjects that, that's probably personal to you or not, and maybe perspectives that apply to each person or it doesn't, but we'll go from there. So thank you. Like, share, comment, the same shit YouTubers been saying. Thank you, Terry Borderline, for coming on. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shane.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. Yo, we gotta connect, bro, for real.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we will. I'm gonna get your Instagram. When
I think Shane's Instagram is Blondie right there, how he has it on the thing. So
word.
Yeah, Terry's is easy. Just put his last name, you'll see him.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you.
Okay, I got it.
Oh yeah, see, he put it in there.
Yes.
I can end it. All right. You got it, Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let me end the live real quick.